Hey guys, so here's the example replay that we're going to look at of a Zergling Rush. I fast forwarded a little bit just to the point where it kind of diverges from normal play. So we see this Zerg is taking his expansion before making his Overlord, which is not really standard at all. So we don't know about this yet. I've just made my gateway. We're going to do a gateway scout, but when my probe arrives, I'm going to show you a bunch of signs you want to look for. So let's fast forward this a little bit. So this was a clan war. So when your probe arrives at about 115, 120, you're just going to take note of the hatchery progress bar. So in this case, it's about halfway, which is a bit more than normal. Maybe after this, we'll look at a normal hatch first, but usually that's around here. So not quite just started, but not halfway. So this is already suspicious. So when you see this, you can kind of make a note of that. Okay, it's got a pretty early hatchery. Maybe something weird here. And then if we fast forward to about maybe around here, you'll note that the hatchery finishes at 150, and normally hatcheries don't finish until about 2 minutes. So another small clue, and you're just kind of be trying to pick up as many of these clues as you can. Another thing we're going to notice, which is more subtle, let me go to my vision so you can see this, how it looks. But so we're looking at the hatcheries, and we actually can notice if the hatchery is making something. So we won't know what it is, but in this case, it pretty much has to be a queen, right? Like, he's probably not going to be getting burrow this fast, or overlord speed. So because if he does that, he'll be skipping his queens, right? Or zergling speed. So he pretty much has to be getting queens. So if you see the hatch is wiggling, so you can ignore this symbol, but just look at the hatch itself. Let me go back a little bit. So right here, if we look at the hatch, you'll see that it's wiggling quite quickly. And if you take a look at this second hatch, when we come down here, it's not really going to be doing that. So it's moving a little bit, but it's not nearly as fast, and it's not as much wiggle there. So if you look closely and you kind of identify how these look, then you can know that this hatchery is building a queen and this one is not. So that's a pretty big tell for us. That means he's kind of committing to something else with his minerals, and really his only option at this point in the game is to be making lots of zerglings or a third base potentially. So I think we'll go take a look in a second for that third. If it's quite common actually, if you want to get a fast third, you just make one queen. So if we can just check here and make sure that's not happening, basically right at this point in the game, we know that he's committed to the zerglings. So I'm gonna do a little bit more scouting, but from this point in the game, you should have a really good idea that he's cheesing. So you'll see me respond in just a second. Our probe is kind of looking around, seeing what additional info we can get. Right there, I just noticed there's no drones here, which is a little bit abnormal. And still no queen started. So more and more confirmation. We're probably like 95% sure right now. So I throw down a shield battery. And then I think we do one more scout here. You can kind of scout as much as you want before 3:30. So just keep your probe around here and just keep getting more info. So the plan here was just to run into the natural and see if we can spot any drones being made. And right here we see there's no drones still. And if you look at my base, you can see that I already have 22 here, 24, 25. So we're quite ahead in workers. There's really no reason for us to make any more workers. We should just stop right here and prepare for whatever he's doing. And so you might ask, like, all right, we know the Zerg's doing some sort of cheese, right, from my perspective, but what cheese is he doing? And to be honest, it doesn't really matter. He could be doing a Ling Rush, a Baneling Bust, like Roachling, Ravagerling. The response is always going to be to chrono this gateway, get a couple units out, and then just make a a good amount of shield batteries while not making probes. So quite a few things there, but write those down, make sure you know them. And so we can start doing our response here. I also got a robo. It doesn't really matter what tech you get, but this is generally the easiest to defend these rushes. Plus you can also do a counterattack if you defend easily and win the game with like an immortal push. So it's kind of like an easy way to finish the game. So I threw it on another shield battery. We're basically like 99% sure he's going to cheese us. And then I'm going to do a couple more things. I'm going to make a gateway here, just so that if he does kill my stalker, we're going to have a little bit of extra defense against that. So this would be really strong against like a Baneling bust, or maybe just later in the game if the stalker dies, we're going to have this backup wall. And then I made an observer here. This isn't really a great choice probably. I should have just got an immortal in retrospect, but what are you going to do? You can't always play a perfect game. So yeah, just scrap this, get an immortal. And now we see a huge flood of lings. So this is basically confirmed it's going to be a mass ling flood. If he was going to do a Baneling bust, he would have already made them. And if it was roaches, he would have had the roaches come first. So this is just mass ling only. So basically what we need to do is just keep making units, keep making more shield batteries if we need it. I'm probably making too many probes here. We could make this a lot easier by just making like 2-3 more shield batteries. So that's a little bit of a mistake. And then basically you just re-wall until these zerglings start dying and reducing their numbers. I healed my robo here just to see if I can get that immortal out. I think it's just barely denied, but not really a big deal either way. And I chose to warp in sentries here. The reason you want to do that is because it's going to free up a lot more of your minerals, and you're usually going to be continuing to make this wall. So I think it's a bit better to make sentries. You can also force field, and it kind of works well when you do the counter immortal push to win the game, or to close the game out. But I mean, like Adepts or Stalkers will work fine as well. So there you go, guys. That's how you want to be defending against these mass ling floods. But this defense will work good against roachling plays or Baneling busts as well. So hopefully this helps you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.